Greetings, fellow developers out there on the internet, and welcome to my programming channel. My name is Samuli and I write code, and in this channel I'm talking about code. So let's talk about minimizing Vaadin project setups. But before that, full disclosure. I am employee of Vaadin, but everything I have included here is free and open source. All of the code is available at GitHub. You can find the link in description below. And also few words first about what is Vaadin. Vaadin Flow is a Java framework that lets developers to build web applications like desktop applications, and if necessary, it allows full stack development with only using Java. If you're familiar with Java Swing or any similar native desktop programming environment, then programming paradigm with Vaadin is the same. You have a stateful application running in server side. And now to the topic of this video. The problem that I'm attempting to solve here is that even the smallest starter projects at vaadin.com come with some boilerplate code that may or may not be necessary for your use case. You may end up in this when your project evolves, but if you want to start completely from scratch and understand every line that gets into your version control, then you're watching the right tutorial. Now I will show you that you only need 2 files to get fully functional Vaadin Flow project up and running, and by that I mean it outputs a button that on click shows a notification containing text "Hello World." So let's take a look what those 2 files are and what they contain. First, you need the Maven POM XML. It contains dependencies for Spring Boot and Vaadin. On the top, there is the common Maven stuff like application IDs, names, versions. Note that the packaging type is jar. It makes it easier to run the project without servlet container. When you're using parent POM from Spring Boot and the bill of materials from Vaadin, you don't have to define any of the dependencies and their versions except these top level ones. That is Vaadin Core and Spring Boot Starter. Then you are going to need 2 build plugins for running the application directly as a jar file and letting Vaadin to prepare and build its front-end files during the Maven build process. If the packaging would be war file, then you could omit the Spring Boot Maven plugin, but I chose the jar type here since that's used by most people these days. Second is the application main class. This is where the programmatically everything interesting happens. On the top, you have the root annotation here that tells Vaadin to create an instance of this class and display it to the browser. All what you see here is completely server-side Java abstractions, so this will be transformed into HTML, CSS, JavaScript web page by Vaadin. Application class and main methods are from Spring Boot to allow running this directly as a Java application. When you run it, what really happens on the background is that Spring Boot will start embedded Tomcat server, which opens up port 8080 in your local machine. And we're done. This is the minimal project setup to get an application running. In practical projects, you would like to add theming, property files, node.log files into the mix too. But if you want to proceed with 1 step at a time, this setup will get you started. You can always add stuff, but if you are starting with overwhelmingly amount of dependencies, template and such, you can easily get lost on what does exactly what. And last, I dare you to try it by yourself. You need to have JDK and Maven installed in your system. Vaadin will take care of installing Node if you don't have it already. And Spring Boot will deal the embedded Tomcat servlet container. And have fun extending it. You will find all the necessary files at the GitHub. I also included Docker file there for those who prefer to deploy that way. And that's all I got for you this time. Thanks for watching and for your attention. Please do subscribe and leave a comment if you found this kind of content useful or interesting. I hope that I will see you all here on the next time. Take care and happy coding!